Today on Warhammer Dad, we explore fuel pipes and barricades, the unsung heroes of the 41st millennium. Warhammer Dad, Warhammer Dad, Warhammer Dad does terrain today. And so it continues, today's adventure with Warhammer Dad, as we explore the wonders of barricades and fuel pipes across the battlefields of the 41st millennium. So fuel pipes and barricades come in all shapes and sizes. Here are just some examples. There's all the martyrs creating a nice barricade. You've got some fuel pipes there getting in the way. These are probably the most underrated examples of excellent terrain in the 41st millennium. So here we have another form of barricade created out of armor crates and fuel barrels. This is an example of improvised terrain, and guess what? It is just as effective as those fuel pipes or that wall of martyrs. So why are barricades and fuel pipes exactly so good? Well, because they come with a whole range of amazing terrain traits. A defense line, light cover, heavy cover. They are defensible. Yet they are also unstable positions and they are difficult ground. If you're on the right side of one of these, you are set for war. These fuel pipes are offering the opportunity of light cover to the Sisters of Battle. Provided these Necrons are shooting across the terrain feature, the Sisters of Battle are able to gain the light cover bonus. This adds +1 to their armor save. Does not affect invulnerable saves, but gives them an extra +1 to save. So these ladies are saving on a 2+. However, one drawback of these fuel pipes and barricades is if the enemy gets behind you, you no longer receive the benefit of the cover. They're no longer shooting across the fuel pipes or the barricades, so you no longer get your light cover. Fuel pipes and barricades count as unstable terrain, so these poor Necron warriors are breaking the rules. They are not allowed to end their movement or charge phase on top of the barricade or the fuel pipes. They have to be on level ground, just like this. These Necron warriors are having to deal with the Sisters of Battle falling back out of combat. However, they wish to press on the attack. Unfortunately, now have to deal with the fact that this terrain feature is difficult ground. Barricades and fuel pipes subtract 2 inches to your movement. So if you were to cross over this terrain feature, you would have to subtract 2 inches from your normal move, any advance rolls, falling back or charging unless you have the fly keyword. So these warriors have passed over the terrain, but they have had to subtract 2 inches from their movement. This is why it is important that you check your moves, because if you end up on top of the terrain feature, the unstable terrain, you cannot make that move. This barricade is amazing because it gives the Sisters of Battle behind it a heavy cover terrain trait. This means that when they engage in melee combat, they get +1 to their armor save. This is fantastic because the neophytes have managed to get through some lucky hits. However, with +1 to save, they now save on a 2+. This means out of all the hits they got through, only 1 wound was taken. However, the heavy cover bonus only applies if you did not perform a charge move. Therefore, the neophytes themselves, when they get hit back, do not gain the benefit of heavy cover. Defense lines, the greatest way to save yourself from the enemies of mankind. These barricades and fuel pipes also have the defense line keyword. This is important for the enemy when they're deciding to make a charge move. You need to be aware that they do not have to be able to touch you to engage you in close combat. Instead, engagement range is extended to 2 inches. This means that they could be on the other side of the barricade and they could still fight you. The defense line keyword also means that you can make a charge move against a unit that is within 1 inch of the terrain feature. This is important because the enemy models can't stand on the terrain feature. They are able to attack you provided you are fairly close. Now, there are ways to mitigate this. By placing your unit more than 1 inch behind the defense line, you're still able to gain the benefit of cover as the enemy are shooting across the object. However, you are able to reduce the effective charge range of the enemy. They lose their 2 inches to cross the barrier, and they also have the unstable keyword, so they cannot place the model on top of the terrain feature. Additionally, you are no longer within 1 inch of the object, so they cannot fight you by just touching the terrain feature. Barricades and fuel pipes also get the amazing keyword defensible. That means you can spend your 1 CP to overwatch and you can declare that your unit is holding steady. This means they can now overwatch on a 5 instead of a 6. And therefore the sister battle managed to get through 3 extra shots, and these neophytes aren't going to get nowhere near combat. The second option, however, is set to defend. If you've burnt through that CP on another unit, or perhaps you don't have a CP to spend on Overwatch, you can instead set your unit to defend. And when it's their turn to fight in the next fight phase, they are able to gain +1 to hit. These sisters have now become more effective and hopefully can withstand the Gene Stealer cult. 2 key things to remember about defensible terrain. It only affects infantry units. If you have beast swarms, monsters, vehicles, etc. behind the barricade, they cannot set to defend or hold steady. Secondly, if you do set to defend, you cannot fire Overwatch that turn. Here I have a scenario where I have a barricade and a fuel pipe. I have some arcoflagellants and I have some sisters of battle. These units are both going to try and protect themselves from the upcoming charge phase. The sisters of battle are going to hold steady. They're going to use that 5+ overwatch to hopefully take out those neophytes and prevent combat from taking place. The arcoflagellants are going to set to defend. This is because they are much more effective at hand-to-hand combat. And I want to gain that +1 to hit, so their 4s become 3s. So here you can see the outcome. The sisters have managed to take out 4 of the neophytes through shooting and combat, whilst the arcoflagellants have taken some casualties, but using that extra +1 to hit, they have reduced the enemy squad by half. So to summarise, fuel pipes and barricades offer amazing terrain traits in the 41st millennium. These are light cover, provided the enemy is shooting over the object in question. Sneaky attacks from behind, and you're not going to get the benefit of the cover. Heavy cover, so once you're engaged in combat, provided you do not make the charge move, you are the one basically defending, you get +1 to your armor save. They are difficult ground. If you're going to move over it, charge over it, fall back over that object, you have to subtract 2 from your move characteristic. They're unstable positions, so once you finish your move, your charge, etc., you cannot be on the object. You have to be on the side of it. You have to be positioned correctly. They are defensible. This means that you can set to defend, or you can hold steady. This is something that's often forgotten and overlooked by people during the charge phase. They also have the defense line keyword. Therefore, you can make a charge move against a unit within 1 inch of this terrain feature. You can also fight if you are within 2 inches of the enemy unit, not the traditional 1 inch. This is because it's quite a big, bulky item on the battlefield, and you don't want the actual terrain itself preventing you from having a go in combat. Fuel pipes and barricades, providing huge bonuses to your army.